This is On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Your weekly Flyers recap from blue line to blue line. On the Ice is presented by Independence Blue Cross and is broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's and is brought to you in part by Han & Stone Spa, Independence Blue Cross, Chickies and Pete's, Eddie V's Prime Seafood, and the Capitol Grill. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Riley Cote.
Oh, yes, we're here at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill with Riley Cote, our co-host. This is the Independence Blue Cross On the Ice on a London/Seattle type day, 45 degrees, raining in Philadelphia, waiting for the Phillies to play, watching other teams around the Major League Baseball and others here at Chickies and Pete's. Always beautiful here. Riley, how are you doing?
Doing great. Got my name right and everything.
Got your name right and everything. It's a big day. Chris Hummer producing this program, the Conquistador, Stephen Lawler turning the knobs and the dials, and we have a great guest. We had her last year, and we always love to have her. Her father, Gene, introduced Philadelphia to hockey. She is the number one anthemist, as Lou Nolan always mentions, in the NHL, sang with Kate Smith for years, virtually, before virtual came in, and we're happy to have Lauren Hart here. How are you, Lauren?
I'm good. I'm excited to be with you guys.
Good to have you here. You have an interesting life, Lauren. I mean, I know you've had a rough week, and thank you so much for making this. You've had some obstacles that mere mortals don't normally have. The Flyers are kind of an outlet for you these days. They try to make the playoffs kind of an outlet from real life, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, I look forward to my escape down there and seeing hockey and just being in that world with all the fans and the team. It really is for me, and has been for a lot of years, like at my happy place, even when we haven't been so great. You know, we have such history there. My family, the Hart family and the Snyder family, we have such a rich, amazing history with that team. So I'm always happy when I'm there.
You know my buddy Lindy, right? Lindy and I went to school together.
Did you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, went to Penn together. And you've got an interesting life, too. Riley, Lauren's got 4 kids, not from Delran, not from Cherry Hill. 4 kids from Ethiopia that you and your husband Todd adopted, 3 girls and a boy. I know the boy's moving to Toronto next year for hockey, shockingly. It's an amazing story.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is an amazing story because when I first gave him learn to skate lessons, over in Havertown at the Skadium, so we knew a lot of, like, there's Flyers alumni and people around. And
don't you go to a Flyer and say, teach my kid how to skate?
Well, he had never done anything, so I just wanted to see if he liked it. And at first, he laid in the center ice and did angels and cried and said, I do not like this. So I thought, this isn't going anywhere. But as soon as he was able to put on the gear and practice, then it changed.
Different
then
animal.
The different thing, yeah.
Got the itch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got the itch. And how old were you when you learned to skate?
I was 4 years old. First time I was on the ice. Organized hockey at 5.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And Beck was how old?
Beck was a little bit older, probably around 6.
All right, so 6 years old he learns to skate, and 13 years old he's moving to Toronto.
I know.
To become the next Wayne Gretzky, huh?
Well,
or Bobby Clark.
at least a high school graduate, we hope. Yeah, but yeah, no, he loves it, and I'm just thrilled that he chose that's what he wants to do. I'm glad that none of my kids went into the music business because I wouldn't have encouraged that. Having done it my whole life, even though I love it. But then there he goes into hockey, so I'm proud of him.
Lauren, I think a lot of people asked me when I told them you're going to be on the show today, does Lauren sing outside the national anthem and outside God Bless America? I say, yeah, Lauren's a professional singer. Tell us about your career and what it's been like over the last forever.
The last forever?
Yeah.
Well, and I always think that's funny because people say, do you sing outside the rink? And I was like, well, yes, I do. But yeah, I make records. I've made records for years, been on labels, been in movies, and written for other people. I write for myself and films, and I've just always loved making music. And I did want to sing for the team when I was much younger. But it just wasn't my time. When I moved to LA and California and did my music life and came back when Dad wasn't, later in his career when he wasn't as good of health, to spend time with the family. And then one thing led to another, and then I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept going. And so and that's how that happened. But always did music outside of hockey.
Amazing.
when you were playing, Riley, and then Lou Nolan said Lauren Hart going to sing the national anthem or God Bless America or Oh Canada or all three or whatever, did something come into you? Is it special down at the Wells Fargo Center when Lauren sings? Because I get goosebumps every time.
It was, yes. Amazing energy. And the few playoff games that I landed up playing, you talk about real energy, like you crank that thing up. It was an amazing experience. So yeah, I mean, it was the last moments before the puck dropped, and for me in my role, it was like the last moments before I was probably getting my face pounded in. So there was some peace there was some energy there. It was a little bit of mixed emotions. So
yeah, for sure.
Somebody gave you $1 million, Lauren. They said $1 million tonight. You either sing, it's a playoff game, full Wells Fargo Center. Let's jack it up all the way. 7th game, Stanley Cup Finals. Trying to get the crowd to a froth. Never mind the Kate Smith thing. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
You can sing God Bless America or the national anthem. Which one you sing?
Oh, God Bless America. It's Philly.
Yeah. It's a Philly
You have
thing.
to go there, yeah.
What's that like? Because you seem to hit notes that some people say when you're in a certain state of adrenaline or whatever. I'm sure Riley knows this as a player. I don't know it for anything because I'm just an average Joe, but you can do things that you didn't think you could do otherwise.
Oh, well, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Even when you're, because you're not always feeling 1,000%, but you get that adrenaline and you get going and you sort of get that extra bump there. And especially during a playoff game. I mean, just the excitement from the fans, the electricity in the air, you can feel it. So I mean, it definitely feels way different early in this season. Walking out on the ice, I can feel the vibe of the crowd. But as we're getting closer,
and Lou's announcement for you is great every time too.
Of course, it's great. It makes me laugh every time I say yeah.
Number one Anthemist, Riley. You have to listen to the national anthem. Well, not anymore, but you're a Canadian who had to listen to the American national anthem. Obviously, Canadian at times too. Not that you'd not like the national anthem of whatever country for any reason, but what's it like when you constantly have to listen to somebody else's national anthem to jack you up before a game?
You get used to it, Yeah, it's just part of the business. Yeah, I mean, growing up, even playing street hockey, we do national anthem, we do the American Canadian national anthem. It was just like part of the process.
Yeah.
So it's just the way you remember it. So,
yeah, and it's the fans. It's it makes the fans feel a certain way, and hopefully that makes you guys feel, ready to do whatever you need to do or get that extra that you need.
Definitely.
Lauren, probably 30 years ago, I'm guessing, we were at a golf tournament at Philly Cricket Club, and I was going out with Brian Hart, Todd Carmichael, and Lauren Hart. And I know that you knew Todd Carmichael. I'm not sure if you were married at that point. I didn't know Todd at all. And I get in the cart and saying, what do you do? I'm a jokester. I joke and lie to people a lot about a lot of things. But I'm not used to meeting people like me. And Todd's talking about, I worked for the King of Saudi Arabia. I'm like, okay, and I'm Oprah Winfrey, and I did this, and I walked across the desert, and I'm going to walk across Antarctica, and I'm rolling my eyes. But your brother Brian's in the car, and he's not rolling his eyes.
No.
I'm like, dude, is this what? Is this on the level? Tell everybody about the man you're married to, Todd Carmichael. I was telling Riley before the show, what are his top 5 feats in your opinion? These are insane. It's unbelievable. What, other than selling La Colombe for $900 trillion and putting you on the Forbes 400. What's Todd done?
Well, that was pretty amazing. Well, his biggest feat is being the first man to cross Antarctica on foot, solo, unattended. He drug a sled, hundreds and hundreds of miles.
And his snowshoe broke right away, right?
Well, his skis broke like the second day, so he had to literally walk it. I mean, going across snow, skiing is probably, easier, but he had to walk it, and he just kept going,
How long did that take?
I should know this to a T. 39 days, something hours, and something minutes. Yeah,
I remember I would call you in the middle of this.
Almost 40 days. Wow, that's incredible.
You had him on GPS before GPS.
Yeah. Yeah, we had the big satellite phone, and I had a little screen that could see the dot moving and everything. And
wow.
Yeah. But he was
incredible.
alone, and it is the kind of thing that when you're doing it, you can't get aircraft or you can't get help, so you're just there.
There's no Wawa.
No, there is no Wawa. But you get to a certain point once you start walking, and then it's the no-go zone. You don't have planes are not there. There aren't any people there, so you're completely on your own.
Was he in communication with you?
Yeah, he had a satellite phone, and when we could get connections, we would talk. And
What do you mean when you could? Are certain parts of Antarctica wired for satellite phone and others aren't?
Well, no, it's just reception isn't always great. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm
Like
sure,
depending on,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say how many miles of hours the wind is and the coverage, but anyway, we would definitely talk. Every time that we were able to talk. Yeah.
I'll never forget. I called you a couple times during that. I mean, we talked about it for months before.
Yep.
Walking, and you weren't married yet. You didn't have kids. You wouldn't have been thrilled with that now, would you?
That would not happen.
Yeah.
No, this was pre-kids.
What was the gist of why he decided to do that?
Because it's there.
Well, there you go. Because it's there, and he's kind of an endurance athlete. So he was a long distance runner for the University of Washington and was an athlete, and he loves that challenge of like how far can you push your
yourself.
brain and your body, your mind and your body. And so that was probably his biggest thing, and he's done Death Valley and
It's amazing.
Kilimanjaro. He was going to do Everest. I said no to that one, but Mount Rainier. He just loves those challenges.
Yeah.
He just loves them.
And then when he
Props to
came
him.
back, he figured, well, I'm 30-something years old now. What do? Maybe I'll start a coffee company and start a TV show. Tell us about those.
Well, funny enough, when he did do the trip to Antarctica, in order for me to justify it, I'm like, here, take this little camera. I want you to keep a video diary every night. I wanted to know what it was like for someone to be that isolated out there for that long. Just talk to it. And it kind of turned out to being like, Castaway, like talking to Wilson the ball.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The video camera was like his thing he talked to, because I wanted to take that and make a film out of it. So it kept my mind busy, like all the possibilities of what this movie could be and music on it and stuff while he was doing his thing, because it was pretty stressful,
I'm sure.
at home to wait that one out. But yeah, we eventually made a film out of it, which did really, really well, and then ended up making it into a television series
Called?
Dangerous Grounds.
Yep.
That was
So
on,
awesome.
Yeah, that was on the Travel Channel for a bunch of years.
Oh, super cool.
Yeah.
Talk about commitment.
Yep.
Riley, how many people you think listening or watching our show now are thinking, wait, I thought this was a typical suburban housewife who sings the national anthem at Flyers games. What?
What?
I mean, how many people are shocked to know the life that Lauren 007 Hart leads?
Yeah, I've done. You know what? If I write it all down on paper, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the way that looks and the way that sounds. But yeah, I've had lots of great adventures, and really great ones even before I started singing for the Flyers.
Like?
Well, I lived in Monte Carlo, and
Who hasn't? You lived in Monte Carlo?
yeah, I lived in Monte Carlo, and I sang in this theater called the Sporting Club, and I sang with everyone from Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson to Diana
wow.
Ross to, just like at this club every weekend a big superstar would come in. And then I would be sort of their opening act and get to know people and start working with people. So that was a pretty crazy time.
I lived in Plymouth Meeting and sang with Mike Levine.
Did you? I made my first record, and when I made my first record in L.A. For Columbia Records, I was in a really famous studio there called Sound City, and while I'm making my first record, I had Tom Petty, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Johnny Cash in the other three.
Wow.
In the other three rooms,
Legendary.
recording. So I'd come out and like June Carter Cash would be making me a sandwich, and I was like when Chili Peppers recorded that roller coaster song with the kazoos, I was there watching.
cool
them
is
do
that?
it. Yeah. So it just really just fun. Interesting things, and just any chance and any way I got to make music, I was always into it and always there.
All right, we're going to get to the Flyers and the other segments of our show, but as long as we're still in the family section, I'm not lying, I'm not kissing your butt by saying this, but I've told you this many times, and I told him this. When your father, Gene, died, Gene obviously educated the city of Philadelphia with hockey, was our broadcaster, won the first cup, his legendary calls. When he passed away a long time ago, I went to the funeral or the memorial service at the Wells Fargo Center, whatever it happened to be called then.
Yep.
Your brother Brian, who I didn't know from Adam at that point, delivered the most beautiful eulogy I've ever heard for anyone, anywhere. Brian's a pretty talented guy too, isn't he?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's funny because He really knows sports. He has that, memory, photographic memory, so he knows stats and he knows all that cool stuff my dad did. But prior to that, I never really heard my brother talk out loud. So when he gave that eulogy, I was as blown away as you were, because I thought that it was the most beautiful, well-spoken, eloquent, and just, everything that a young boy who grew up with a dad in professional sports, it was just kind of really magical and special. So yeah, I thought the same exact thing, and I'm glad that you saw that, because it was pretty spectacular.
It was, and everybody did. It was. I'm not sure the Wells Fargo Center was full, but there were thousands of people there, and everybody thought. I mean, Riley, it was incredible.
It was.
All right, we're going to talk about some Flyers stuff. But first we're going to talk about stuff here at Chickies and Pete's. Our buddy Gideon, the manager here at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill, wants us to let you know, happy hour here at Chickies, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. with half-price pizzas, hot and cold shrimp, wings, $3 domestic bottles, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers here at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill, where you always get your stuff the right way. It's hot, great energy, lots of TVs. Why wouldn't you want to be at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill, where you're listening to On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross, right here in Drexel Hill, right here on 1490 WBCB, and we will be back with Lauren Hart and Riley Cote right after this. Stay with us.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour, with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies medium tender wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m., only at Chickies and Pete's.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is a true retreat from the everyday. With locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City, Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Riley Cote.
All righty, here on 1490 WBCB, you can listen around the world. Our buddy Philip Brooks watching and listening out in Iowa tonight, along with many others. Thank you for being here. Here at Chickies and Pete's every Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesdays, 8 to 10 is Music Bingo. Wednesdays, 7 to 9 p.m. Trivia Night, along with Buy One, Get One Free Snow Crab Legs. Always great to be at Chickies and Pete's here in Drexel Hill, where it's time for the Independence Blue Cross Live Fearless Player of the Week. And this week it's Morgan Frost for the game-tying goal that gave the Flyers a point against the Islanders on Monday. Remember to choose Independence Blue Cross today and begin to live fearless. I'm going to get to the Flyers in a second, Lauren, but I had to bring this up. I don't know. I don't want to put you in a tough position. I don't want to put anybody in a tough position. Obviously, the Flyers did what they did.
Here it comes. Here comes that tough position.
I'm just going to give you. I'm just going to
throw it out there, Paul.
Just say it.
Kate Smith.
Yes.
What does that bring to your mind?
Well, she's so synonymous with the Flyers, and part of their history. You know, for better or worse, depending on how people feel. I am not going to comment on the handling of it, but I will comment on her, and I think they got it wrong with her. I think they got it wrong with her, and I think people might want to take a second look at that one and learn a little bit more about that one.
Well, when you and her sang the national anthem, when they synced it up, obviously she's passed away many years ago, but the friggin' roof blew off the place. Were you at any of those games where Lauren and Kate sang together, Riley?
Yes, I was.
What was that like for you?
Amazing. I mean, there's no words to describe it.
Because the fans were so connected to her.
Yeah.
And she represented the ultimate win, the cup, the success, and a really great time in Flyers history. And so I don't think it's necessarily always just, oh, you're stuck in the past, but, who you are, your foundation of who you are is who you are forever, and that doesn't mean you don't have new teams and new players and new successes and new failure. But, I think that the fans, when they saw her, were just blown away. That especially that first time, I don't think they saw that one coming.
What do the fans mean to you, Lauren? Fans are everything in Philadelphia. I don't think there are many celebrity national anthem singers. A couple Roger Doucet in Montreal. The guy in Chicago is unbelievable.
All right.
But what's it like connecting with these fans on the level that you have?
So, and I was just saying that to this gentleman here. The fans have given me far
Steve?
more.
He's not a gentleman.
Okay, not a gentleman. I call you a gentleman, Steve. But
my bad.
On certain days, okay. But the fans have done way more for me than I've ever given to them. The fans were there when my dad passed away. The fans were there when I went through cancer, and they stood by me. Like, people I never met in my life did and said the most amazing acts of kindness and kept me going, in a time that I didn't know what was going to happen the next day, So that alone, forever. That's a forever bond. And I'm just always so grateful to the fans. And, it's cool for me that because I do and my family does have history in the past, that when I meet fans, I can connect with people who have been there for a long time, and I can connect with their kids who have seen me now. And, it's just, it keeps like a family vibe. And I think like when you say the Flyers family, I think you have to say it's the fans.
Yep.
It is the players, it is their families, and it is the owner, and it is his family. But the family is everybody, and that means the fans. And I think we were always very, very good at embracing the fans and making them feel like they are part of the orange and black, and that's it. We're all in it together. So priceless. The fans are everything.
Do you have some Jerry Maguire type agent that goes in and signs a new one-year deal for you? I'm under the impression that you're just the Anthemist forever until you decide to stop, and there's nothing formal about it. You have any kind of arrangement?
There's nothing formal about it. There is absolutely nothing formal about it other than I love doing it and I want to do it, you know. So, I mean, I'll do it until I feel like I'm not good at it. And when I feel like I'm not good at it anymore, then I will be saying bye-bye. But
why don't you tell everybody who your backup was for about 20 years?
Who's that?
Me.
You? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
geez.
Gee,
That's
I
what
forgot.
kept you going.
You're right.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
We'd have
Thank
dinner
God
together.
you kept rocking.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I would tell your mother at dinner, Lauren gets laryngitis
That's right.
tonight. I step in. She goes, well, Lauren, let's hope she doesn't get laryngitis.
Yeah.
Might lose the whole fan base.
Might lose the whole family. Rouse, you're in some great things, some interesting sidelights with medicines and what you're doing after hockey, your wellness plans. A lot of people might think, in fact, that Lauren married a normal guy named Todd who went to Riley Cote and all of a sudden started doing these insane things. But that's not what you do, although it would fit a narrative here. Tell everybody what you do.
Well, I do a few different things. I would say the biggest thing I do is teach mindfulness. So breathing, meditation, rhythmic mindfulness, creating and cultivating relationship with your body. You know, I think there's a lot of things that equate to mental health issues down the road, and as we see in this world we're living in today, we're living in a mental health crisis. So that would be the main vehicle, but I also interface that with sacred earth medicines like cannabis and psilocybin mushrooms that help. They act as a catalyst to help the individual look inwards to make sense of their situation, so they can come back into their own and integrate that into their lives. And that's where I think the mindfulness piece lands up being the integration, is because we have to now, take action and do the work. So.
And the interesting part of this is Riley talks about mindfulness in such a mature way, such a descriptive way. This is after a career fighting and scrounging his way to the top and basically beating the hell out of people. This is a strange career change, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit, but when you get squeezed in life, right, you have to make some hard decisions. So, for me, it was giving up my childhood dream and turning a year of my contract in to save myself, essentially, right, to kind of find myself.
So you retired a year early?
Well, yeah, I was 28 years old, but I had another year on my contract with the Flyers, so I landed up getting into coaching, but it was more around getting on the other side of the fence to save myself, to reel in some of the issues that I was dealing with, concussion-related stuff, but there was some substance abuse-related stuff that I had to, nip in the bud, and really what landed up being just about finding my authentic self, which I realized at the time I wasn't exactly living in alignment. So.
All right, Lauren Riley, I know you've known for a long time. You've known every Flyer since ever. I mean, Bobby Clark on. Bernie and Brad are also guest hosts on this show. You've known a lot of people. Do you have one or two or three Flyers that stick out as maybe uncles or whatever is your favorite Flyers of all time that your father introduced you to or otherwise?
Well,
Do you ever date a Flyer?
Oh, you got to go there, Paul.
That's going to be the Fifth Amendment.
Yes, what you said. Yes.
Yep.
Favorite Flyer. You know what? I couldn't. I have so many favorite Flyers. I'll say that the alumni from my dad's era, I love dearly because I feel like they kind of stepped up to the plate for me in a way that was very, dad-like and in a really great way. So I love those guys, Bernie and Bob Kelly and the Watsons and on and on and on. I mean, they're just really terrific people.
So they weren't all bullies, huh?
No. Not all bullies, not all, and neither was Ed Snyder, who a lot of people thought he was, like scared of him either, but he was was just a softie inside and a really great guy and a really great person, But I have so many favorites, but I think the ones I would say overall as favorites, there's just something about some guys that are just embody the essence of Philly. Mm-hmm. You're definitely one of them. Over the years, like Wayne Simmons and Ron Brindamore, there were just people, and it's not a list of things you check off or anything, but the fans know it, they feel it, and I think you always feel extra connected to people who really embody like the spirit of what the fans are and what Philly's about. So yeah.
Riley, why did you stay here? I mean, Lauren talks about Philly. Fred Shero said win today and walk together forever. Well, you didn't win today, although you played on a team that almost won. But you stayed here. Why?
I think it's a lot of what we're talking about here, and what Lauren's alluding to is just the energy of the city, what the city represents, that mixture of hard work and attitude, and just the Flyers culture just seems to be in alignment with the way I played the game and the way I saw things. So and I've created a living here. I made a name for myself here, and it just seems fitting that I would stick around the area and support the Orange and Black to best of my ability, and just do what I can in the community to use my platform to do good, and that's what I'm trying to do.
I wish we were in a room, Riley, with Lauren and Jerry Seinfeld sometime, and Jerry said, does that guy that you're with, Riley, is he a media guy at all? I said, yeah, he's a former hockey tough guy. He's got a podcast called Nasty Knuckles. We said, what you doing now? He said, he's working on mindfulness issues. He's like, oh.
Mindfulness issues, yeah. We all are, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Do you find it odd, this juxtaposition of your life? It's an amazing, I know we asked the question already, but just as far as the things you do, the versatility you have, you're going out with a girl, a corporate tycoon. You're living in Philadelphia. You've had a very interesting life, haven't you?
I have, yeah. And it's one of those, you just, growing up, I certainly envisioned it a lot different, right? I mean, you're growing up playing street hockey in the middle of Canada. And you think you're going to score 50, 60, 70 goals a year like Wayne Gretzky, and, that's the energy.
I bet you did in street hockey.
Well, yeah, in street hockey, I certainly did. However, the universe has its plans, and, I landed up deciding to do it the old-fashioned way and slug it out, and really want to live my childhood dream, and not knowing where this is going to take me. And I'm just grateful for the journey, the experiences, and how the game has spat me out on the other side with, with some wisdom, I guess you could say, right? Because I've seen a lot of guys go down some dark paths, and I didn't want to be one of them, and I certainly wanted to be part of the solution and try to do my best to whatever that looks like to help guys transition or just manage physical, emotional, spiritual pain that they're dealing with. So I couldn't have ever scripted this. It's fitting, knowing myself and how I, just how I am. It just seems, like a natural progression, as crazy as it is.
It definitely does, right?
Yeah.
And I think not only are you representative for other athletes, you're representative for just people in general who aren't able to ask themselves those questions or face that kind of admit they need help or they need to find their mindfulness or something. When they see someone like you doing it, it just makes it much more possible and much more of a reality that's something that they could do too.
Well, life is unscripted, and as you know, at the beginning of the year, we're going to talk about the Flyers when we come back. Flyers had Carter Hart and Sam Erston as their goalies, which makes it a natural that in Game 76 or whatever that Ivan Fedotov, who came into the Nets as a Flyer. The Flyers got two goalies from Russia in the same week, 6'7" Ivan Fedotov and Alexei Kolosov. One's playing here, one's not. We'll talk Flyers, who are on the cusp of making the playoffs and on the cusp of getting kicked out. Tough times. They've lost 5 in a row. John Tortorella having some interesting moments. We'll talk about that and a lot of hockey stuff when we come back with Lauren Hart. And our guest host, Riley Cote, as On the Ice continues from Chickies and Pete's here in Drexel Hill with Steve and other fans watching in right after this.
Hey, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Dive into our delectable seasonal seafood specials, including our Chickies and Pete's Sticky Lobster Tacos, succulent Brazilian tail meat in a spicy sauce, or try our Chickie and Pete's Shrimp Po' Boy, our signature fried shrimp, lettuce, roasted tomato, and a cherry pepper sauce, served on a fresh baguette. Plus, don't forget our Chickie and Pete's buy one, get one sweet and tasty snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
At Independence Blue Cross, we believe in giving you the tools you need to pursue your healthiest life. From premiums as low as $0 per month to health discounts and cash rewards, it pays to have coverage with Independence. With the strongest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free 24/7 virtual doctor visits, you can feel confident that quality care is always within reach. Learn more about your coverage options at ibx.com.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is the true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Riley Cote.
I feel like I'm in tune with my guest tonight. Lauren Hart's husband, my buddy Todd Carmichael, walked across Antarctica. I walked across the street to ask a neighbor to borrow their rake. And Riley Cote, with mindfulness, teaching people all kinds of disciplines. I watched Jeopardy last night, so I kind of feel like I vibe both of you guys. It's a special.
You watched it mindfully, though.
I watched it mindfully.
Yeah, well,
but something else mindfully, Lauren. I know you got your father obviously passed away, one of the great. And I listened to a Brandywine, race caller Brandywine. I'm a big horse racing fan, along with hockey and opera, by the way. Mm-hmm. But your mom, Sarah, is watching and listening tonight. I know you wanted to say hi to her and talk about your mom a little bit.
Yeah, we're just saying hi and hope she's feeling better every day.
Great
Sure,
thing.
the best.
Yeah.
I got both parents, and I'm very lucky, 93 and 92. And
wow.
Having a parent. Do you have parents, Riley?
I do.
Good
yeah,
for
they're
you.
both kicking up in Winnipeg.
Is that where you're originally from,
Yeah.
Winnipeg?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's Winnipeg like? Winnipeg, Riley, it's beyond cold. It's like north of what? North Dakota?
Yeah, it's about an hour and 20 minutes north of the U.S. border there, North Dakota. Yeah.
All right, so when we complain about a 10-degree day, like I say, it gets really, really cold, a cold Arctic blast.
Like today.
Yeah.
For me.
Like today.
Yeah, right. Today it was one of those days.
But like in January, when it's 10 degrees here, little wind, not crazy wind, and people are like, it's Armageddon, this is the coldest life can possibly be, you're laughing how?
Well, I used to laugh. Now I think I've softened. So now I'm one of those people complaining maybe about it's too cold. But, I grew up in Winnipeg, as I mentioned, and had a paper route as early as 8 years old. And out there, just you don't know any better, right? So you just adapt, and that's how it is. And then you get the luxury of moving south. And, I mean, not that it's that south, but it's certainly warmer. And then it snows maybe 2 or 3 times a year. It's certainly different. But I think I've softened enough now where it's going back to a Winnipeg winter would be devastating. I don't know if I could deal with it.
Well,
honestly.
I'd like to go back to Winnipeg for the playoffs. I'd have to go back for the Stanley Cup final. But that brings us to the hockey part of the show. And Flyers obviously had a great year. The rebuild has exceeded all expectations. We know about John Tortorella getting a little antsy the last couple days of practice today after the game Monday night, calling the team soft, ripping the team, I think, trying to push some buttons. 1 point ahead in the wild card with the Red Wings, 1 point ahead in the division with the Caps. So the Caps have games in hand. Flyers with 6 games left, lost 5 in a row, although they got a point in 2 of them. Lauren, are the fans going to get to see the orange and black in the Stanley Cup playoffs this season?
Well, let's just talk about the playoffs, and then we'll talk Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah. There we are.
Let's just get
Not
to
the Stanley Cup final, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs,
Yeah.
yes. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, we are. We're going to pull it out. Yes, absolutely. I believe we are. I believe they had something special all year. I think that this team has pushed extra hard, like all year long, hit the throttle all year long. And then eventually you're going to have to pay for that. We do have, like, some of the deficits. You were talking about the goaltender change and certain defensemen
Ivan
being
Fedotov
hurt.
coming from Russia.
Yeah, and defensemen being hurt.
Yep.
But when you play that hard, that whole season, you got to make it to the end of 82 games or anything. It's just about this time that it's going to get really hard. And so you have a lot of young guys who have pushed really, really hard, and this is a real test for them. And I would say, like, if we don't get there, I'm going to cry. But
Me too.
but when I get over that part, I'm going to say it's really miraculous for this season because we were, as fans, expecting nothing.
Well,
Right.
Daniel Jones, you've done a great job. I had one problem with what Tortorella said, Riley. I think he's done an unbelievable job. I think he pushes buttons through the media at times, gets on people, whatever. They didn't hire John Tortorella, but glad he's here. The one thing he said that I have a problem with, and you went through a bunch of hockey seasons, you said they're a little bit tired and out of gas. Every team is going to be tired and out of gas at this time of year. Don't whine about that. He's very rarely whines, so it surprised me. But what's it like when you get to this point? You got to give yourself something that you may not have. You got to find it from somewhere and just push through. That's the same for everybody, isn't it?
It is, but I will say to what Lauren's saying, like the Flyers brand of hockey is grunt work, right? I mean, they're winning games on being resilient. That third period push, you know, they're always in it and they're always fighting. So I think early on in the season, the comments were like, can they sustain this? Can they?
Yes.
Can they keep this level of energy up all season? And they have. They, you know, little blimps like every other team. And to me, I see them finishing these last 6 games like they finished, you know, a lot of third periods. Is that huge push, the resilience, the fight, because they know it's at stake. So, but yeah. So, to answer your question, I think everyone is in that same boat. But I think the Flyers brand of hockey is maybe a little bit different than other teams as far as how they were able to get success this year, have success, and it's foot on the gas.
Well, now Sean Couturier is hurt. Jamie Drysdale back on defense. Nick Seeler, who we had on a couple weeks ago, is back. You have some injuries. You have some doubt. Travis Konechny hadn't played well the last couple games, kind of got benched the other night. Lauren, what are the Flyers going to have to do? What's Torts going to have to do to squeeze the lemon and get that Stanley Cup invite?
You know, I think it's just going to be up to the guys. It's going to be up to the guys. It's going to be up to the locker room, to what they talked about, their friendship, their camaraderie. They need to get together. I mean, Torts can say all he wants and direct it all he can, but at the end of the day, it's really those guys that have to deliver and make it happen. It seems like they have a great bond, and a great friendships in there, and that may be the thing that can give them that little extra energy. And these are a lot of young guys, you know. You got rookies in here, you know. So I'm a believer.
Right, a lot of people say they're going to miss the playoffs, whatever. And a lot of other people say, in fact, some of the same people, that a young player, just to experience that playoff atmosphere once. 2010, we all know, beat the Rangers in a shootout. Last day of the season, went to the Stanley Cup final. This year playing the Caps, who may be their top competitor. What's it like when you finally make the playoffs, and how different is playoff hockey than regular season hockey? What does it do to a human being with a beard and the camaraderie and everything like that?
Well, I think it puts everyone at the same exact starting point. It gives every team, a fresh start. I mean, that was my last year of playing in 2010, and as you mentioned, we make the playoffs the last game of the season in a shootout against the Rangers, and then we landed up losing in the finals. But that momentum, we stayed healthy. Obviously, that's a huge part of it, staying healthy. But to me, it's an opportunity to reset, refocus, and start from scratch. Putting the regular season behind you, because as you've seen in the past, there's a lot of upsets. It's anybody's game as long as you stay healthy and you stick to the game plan. So just getting there, to me, is the most important thing, and then just continuing with what's worked throughout the season.
All right, Flyers have missed the playoffs the last 3 years, Lauren. You obviously sing the national anthem, God Bless America, Canadian national anthem if it need be. You don't schedule trips to Macau in May, even when the Flyers suck, because you may be needed through the middle of June, right?
I do not. Like April, May, I always have a hard time, ooh, should I take that job or what, but
have you ever had to cancel something?
I always take them, you know what, because I always take things contingent, unless it's the Academy Awards or something like that, then I might go, okay, I'm going.
How many games have you missed how many years have you done it? How many have you missed and why? I started in 1997, and back then I didn't. When you were only 3.
Yes, I know. Can you believe
impressive.
it?
Yeah.
It is. I was way before my time. But I missed a game, one game when I was sick. I missed one game for each of my kids, to pick up each of my kids. And I actually this year missed 2 games so I could go see my son play in Pee Wee Quebec in Canada, because I couldn't miss it. So I went there. But over all the years, just maybe a handful of games.
All right, we got to take a break
impressive.
right now. What's it going to be like for you if the ultimate great thing happens and Beck makes the NHL, but he plays for the Winnipeg Jets?
You know what? He asks me that all the time. He's like, Mom, because I'm not going to out my son or anything, but he loves the Flyers, but there are other teams he equally loves that are in the league.
Yep.
He said, Mom, if I played for another team, would you wear my jersey? And I said, of course. I said, but never in my building.
Yeah.
Blood is thicker than anything,
Never
right?
in my building, but I will go somewhere and I will wear your jersey, of course. I'm your mom. Of course I will.
That is terrific. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully orange and black will be worn by Flyer fans in the Stanley Cup playoffs. 6 games, we'll go over them. We'll go over the injuries. We'll go over the special teams. We'll go over John Tortorella, the psychology, and the goaltender situation. It's time now for the Smart Stat of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. Simple stat. And down the stretch they come. 6 games to go. Buffalo. Where did I write these? I can't find where I wrote. Yeah, Buffalo, at Columbus, at Montreal, at the Rangers, home Devils, home Caps. 6 games to go. Will the Orange and Black make the playoffs or not? Philadelphia's waiting to see. That was your Flyers Smart Stat of the Week. Once again, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions cater to the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them once again today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. Lauren Hart, Riley Cote, and myself, Paul Jolovitz, come back with our final segment here at Chickies in Drexel Hill, where Gideon runs a great ship. We're back after this. Stay with us.
It's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Here's a winner, fall football, and Chickies and Pete's mouth-watering snow crab legs. For a limited time, buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat dressed in our special blend of seasonings and spices. Pair it with an ice-cold draft beer or one of our signature cocktails. Buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply. Chickies and Pete's.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Riley Cote.
All righty, back here at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill, having a great time with our great guest, Lauren Hart, Riley Cote, our co-host. As a Flyers, they're not choking, but I am. 6 games left to see if the playoffs, the Stanley Cup, can be in their future, the rebuild, the new goalies from Russia, the whole environment. I'm going to kind of dive back for a second before we get into hockey again, Lauren. They say for attorneys, never ask a question that you don't know the answer to. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% sure of this, but let's say 99.9. What's your favorite kind of coffee and why?
Well, here you go. Well, my favorite kind of coffee would be La Colombe, my favorite brand. And
why would that be?
Well, because my hubby founded that. But I do not drink coffee, so...
You don't drink coffee?
No, I don't.
Never have?
No.
Wow.
I'm not a coffee person.
That's like Jack Daniels being made in a dry state, isn't it?
I know. I drink tea.
All right.
I'm a singer. I drink tea, of course.
I'm guessing you can afford some tea because of your husband's love of coffee now.
That's correct.
So what was it like when he started La Colombe? Because I was in... Every time I'm in an airport, Riley, every time I'm anywhere and I see La Colombe, I act like a fool. Like, my buddy started that company.
Yeah.
Tell us about how that happened.
Well, he and his partner, Jean-Philippe Huberti, they both started it years ago. And it was actually on Rittenhouse Square, and they had a factory in Port Richmond. So they had started it before I had ever met Todd. As a matter of fact, when I met Todd, I thought Todd was a barista. I thought he, made the coffee. Somebody introduced. He said, "Oh, he's a coffee guy." So I thought he just made the coffees, and I was like, "Oh, cool."
Makes a mean espresso.
Yeah, I was like, "That's cool. I like that. That's cool." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh, you should stop by. You can come by my work." And I went by his work, and I had no idea his work was this like Willy Wonka factory that he built by hand. And I later learned that he owned the darn company and wasn't the barista, but he could do that job as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's just, he's a really different, unique character.
But
really,
how did he build it up from one
24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And honestly, some of those adventure trips, and I think some of that, the television show, the film, all of that stuff played in part to get the eyes of people on it, because
market it.
And market it
indirectly or whatever.
Right, because the people that did drink it, even locally in Philly, I would always ask, "What's your favorite coffee?" And they'd always say that. But in order to expand it bigger, I think it's the things that he did, those crazy things that really caught people's attention and eyes, and they're like, oh, and by the way, he does that too. So.
All right, Riley, let's see the branding aspect of it. When you play with the Flyers, 2010, did you have free La Colombe in the locker room?
I don't recall. No.
Do you drink coffee?
I've minimized my coffee consumption. I still do drink it. Very, very choosy with my coffee and the water that makes it. But I would have loved to have some La Colombe because I did drink a ton of coffee when I played. A lot of coffee, way more than I should have. My nervous system is still in recovery from all that coffee.
You can see that. it is very good. Flyers, we had Nick Seeler on a couple weeks ago, guys. The heart and soul of this team, blocking shots, doing everything. What does it mean for Riley? Because Nick Seeler, to me, plays for the Flyers, but he's supposed to be a Flyer. You were supposed to be a Flyer. What does being a Flyer mean to you? And then we'll ask Lauren after you.
Yeah, so Nick Seeler represents everything Lauren was talking about earlier. He's exactly that meat and potatoes, that Philly
and one
type
of the nicest kids on earth.
Yeah, nicest guy. But when he puts on the uniform and straps on that bucket, I mean, he's a different person, and I can relate to that because it's just like you're going to war, you're going to battle. You're putting it all on the line. So he absolutely earned that contract that he signed, and he is exactly what the orange and black represent.
It's a terrific story. And, Philly fans, sports fans are hard. They're hard on our teams, no question. But when they love you forever. And they really they just love people that are all heart and soul, who put their everything into it. Doesn't have to be a certain player or kind of player, but it's really about they know when you're all in. They know when you're all in, and they feel it. And if you're all in, like I feel like they know I'm all in with these anthems. At this point, they know I'm all in. But these things are earned, and it's the same with the players on the team. They just know it. They just know it. It's not on paper. It's not because you hit some guy or anything like that. But they feel it. They know it.
50 years since the first Cup, guys. What would it mean to you both, you Lauren, to Gene, your father's legacy? What would it mean for the Flyers to win another Cup? They're going to win one someday. What about sooner rather than later?
Well, I hope it's sooner because I've been hanging in there going, I'm staying for my dad and for Ed, and I'm going to hang in there. It would mean everything, of course. That's the ultimate. That is the ultimate. I've dreamed about it like just as you guys probably dreamed about it.
Sure.
You're the guys doing the job. So, I think Philadelphia is a hockey town, and it would mean everything to this city.
And Nasty Knuckles, Riley, you did it with Shane Gossespear. You used to be a Flyer today. Your podcast, what do people on the podcast, what's the word around the NHL about Danny, Dan, Keith, about the Flyers and their rebuild this year and then the run we're making, which may or may not come to fruition?
It seems pretty consistent. I think Danny's done a hell of a job. Jonesy's done a hell of a job together, right? I mean, Dan Hilferty kind of recreating Flyers culture, recreating that identity. I think that's been lost probably since Ed's passing. And then Torts, bringing in Torts, and I think Torts done a hell of a job to get the guys to pull in the right direction. So it's been consistent. Everyone we talk to, it's the same thing. It's just like they can't believe how far the Flyers have come and what they've created here in such a short amount of time.
We got about 45 seconds. I got to ask you this, Lauren. People ask me this all the time about everybody in Philadelphia. Is there any Flyer that's ever been a member of this team that you met and did not like as a human being?
Oh, that's terrible.
There's got to be
It's a bold question, Paul.
Oh, my goodness. It's a great question, and I've loved them all.
That's good.
Not one a-hole? Not one a-hole?
Let's go back to the question about if I ever dated a hockey player.
Who was it? Was there one?
Unpack that one.
No, that's a whole long story. We're good.
All right. Last question. Going to make Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Is there a game at the Wells Fargo Center? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. I'll say yes.
I'm going yes.
3 yeses. You're going to Hollywood, everybody.
That's it.
There we are. All righty. This has been a fun show. Thanks for coming to the show, folks that have come. Hopefully the Phillies will get it going down at the ballpark as soon as we turn from London back into Philadelphia. Lauren, it's been wonderful having you here. You're a great girl. You're a great ambassador, a great singer, great at everything. You make great coffee. Thanks so much for coming in and say hi to Todd and Brian. And
will do.
And hopefully your mom is doing well. God bless.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Riley, it's been a great time. Maybe we'll see you down the road in a week or two, hopefully, as the Flyers get to the playoffs. root hard, and thanks so much.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Go Flyers. Yep, this show has been produced by Chris Ermer. The Conquistador, Stephen Lawler, has turned the knobs and spun the dials at the station. We'll be at Malvern next week with another Flyer guest, depending on the playoffs and not. We're not sure who. We're living on the high wire right along with the Flyers right now. Thanks, everybody, for listening, for watching. Thanks to Phillip Brooks. This has been the Independence Blue Cross on the ice from Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill. I'm Paul Jolovitz. Until next week, go Orange and Black. Go Flyers.
You've been listening to On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Tonight's show is an exclusive presentation of 1490 WBCB and heard around the world at WBCB1490.com.